All right, Shalom Yashala. Call Halal Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah Waharakak Wadash Brakathum. I like to give double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to the select number of Ahchyam pushing his truth and sincerity in four corners of the round earth. And salutations to the select number of Aquat that they're listening. Now, what I have here on the screen is Mr. Dave Chappelle, which we know him to be a excellent comedian, arguably the greatest, comedian of this generation, right? And I'm using this video as an example of the U.S.'s so-called morality policing, right? Because here on the screen, this the excerpt is about a minute and 4 seconds, right? But you have Eve who's interviewing, Dave Chappelle about his decision on a comedy festival that was hosted in Saudi Arabia in 2025, I believe. And I think he said that in his last special, his most recent special, that, he got, criticized for it, and people are, having the nerve, to be from America and then trying to uphold this morality clause and so forth. Wondering what other countries, other countries, for the most part, man, trying to keep, a lot of BS that's allowed here in the U.S. away from their people, from their women, and from their children, and from impressionable young men and young ladies. To be quite honest with you, now all those other countries righteous? No, no. Okay, we only know to be what's perfect is Yahweh. Okay, the Heavenly Father. Okay, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah. Okay, and Yahweh Shah being when he was on the earth for 33 years, he walked he walked righteously during his time on the earth, man. He was a prime example on how to be, man. Okay, he followed the law to perfection. Okay, so no, these other countries are not righteous by any means, but at the same time they do have standards. Look at the ingredients that are banned in a lot of countries that are allowed where in the U.S. All type of debauchery and fuckery is allowed in the U.S. But once a Jake, because this video is going to go into that, but once a Jake who's very who's very successful in America and then is accepted worldwide and happens to be influential and so forth, that there's an issue with that Israelite man, because he's liked worldwide, right? Which we know, man, is Israelite man and woman, we're the salt of the earth, man. Point blank, period. But what he says in this video it makes a lot of sense, and which even was even more of a reason for me to more of a good reason for me to do a lesson on this. But I'm gonna let the excerpt of this video clip play, and then I'm gonna get some scriptures.
The intelligence, U.S. intelligence, did make it clear that they believe that the Saudis killed Jamal Khashoggi in the embassy in Turkey. And you knew that when you went, right?
Oh, absolutely. Now, I should tell you.
You had no qualms?
I won't say that. They asked me to go years before that. And I said no for that very reason. Since that time, the United States government does business with the Saudis. Netflix does business with the Saudis. Everyone, the Saudis finance tons of movies. All these, I know, I see them financing boxing matches and all these things. And none of these things were an issue until I went there. Now, why is that? As soon as a black man can make money off the plantation, they try to tell you that the money is dirty. Well, okay, I'll go home and spend the money with actual slave owners on it. Where is this clean money you're talking?
But
If you want to be that pure about money, then stop driving your car, stop eating, don't use your cell phone. Everything is tethered to something that's just terrible.
Exactly, man. that whole over righteous approach and the morality police, y'all can really, you can really X that, man. Okay. Look at the look at the egregious things that's done to Jake here in the States. Everybody's still getting up every morning to go to work, right? Everybody's still, going to the grocery store and so forth and just going about their daily life, man. But what he said, it made perfect sense, because it's like, bro, y'all, don't try to overcomplicate this and overcompensate for y'all being wicked and somehow trying to have uh this morality power trip. Okay, America should be the least of them to be speaking on morality. Okay, this is 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 verse 10. For even when we were with you, this we recommend you, that if any would not work, neither should he eat. Okay, so hey, Dave Chappelle has an obligation to what? To feed his family, right? To take care of him and his household. What they got going on in what they had going on in say in Turkey or Saudi Arabia or whatever with that journalist. Hey, as the saying goes, one monkey don't stop no show. But he made that point. Hey, as soon as a Jake, because Jake is big. That's why I say Jake got to be careful when, because everything isn't initially about race, right? But it just comes back to it though. People, it's not as black and white as people like to make it, because it's very spiritual. Okay. Because the angle that Dave Chappelle was coming from, well, you should know as a black man, you already know that was the first thing stated, when he got the criticism. Because on that last special he had the criticism of why would he go over there, this and so forth. Hey, to be quite honest, why would any Jake be in the U.S., right? It's because it was prophecy, because we're in captivity. Point blank period, man. Okay? You just gotta roll with the punches, man. But, for people to think, hey, whether he's sold out, hey, he gonna have to deal with that when the judgment comes from Yahweh Basham Yahshua, right? But as far as that whole trying to guilt trip, what? Because they did that with the whole Target thing, right? To cancel Target, to cancel all these stores, this and that. But it's like, bro, we're in captivity. Nothing's made to be catered, to you in captivity, man. A lot of our people are and then too, yeah, a lot of our people are cooked, man. 2/3 of our people are cooked. Of course, you got the Edomite liberals and you got the Jake liberals, and everybody's so deep on politics because first and foremost, that is a big driving force, because everything that's going on has had political ties to it. Here it is. Hey, Jake just going around. Hey, you're going traveling around the world telling jokes. You know what I'm saying? Because he made very valid points. Everybody's talk, but hey, but I guarantee you, particular ties are not being cut, or other stuff isn't being asked to asked to be put on ice and so forth, or to cut ties with, right? Because first and foremost, Jake is seen as what? Low hanging fruit in a society. Jake is the easiest thing that you can attack. They did that with the whole presidency race with Kamala when she was running against Trump. Oh, everything is in shambles because the black man didn't vote. But here it is. A lot of the a good portion of the so-called black man voted for Kamala, right? And it's always a lose-lose situation being an Israelite man in Babylon, bro. So that's understood. Once you young men and some of you brothers who've been here, the more you experience life, the more you're gonna understand how it's so much of a relief to not, pardon my French, to give a fuck about that. What happened to that journalist? Hey, of course I wouldn't have wanted to happen to my relatives or any of the brothers in the truth. We get that, but hey, the hell does him having to be assassinated, that journalist? Why does that have to affect his daily bread? Like, be for real, man. Just straight up, just be for real. People are full of shit, you know. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 16. Be not righteous over much, neither make thyself over wise. Why shouldest thou destroy thyself? Okay, it's like, bro, I'm going like he said, where is this clean money at? Where, like, now granted, particular jobs that do, for the most part, at least, for the most part, is what seem harmless and so forth. But like you said, somehow, some way, something is tied to it that's going to be egregious, very shameful. Now you can, hey, be my guest. You don't like the way things are running? What? Do your own thing, right? Start a business for yourself if you're that concerned, and so forth. It's just that over righteous approach that the morality policing thing is like stop. Get that shit a break. And that's why I said, hey, these other countries, no, they're not righteous by any means. Okay, but Jake in Babylon does have issues with particular Jake who are successful, who, because they're really he has put in place a very divisive a divisive technique, that's been very successful. But we see that coming to a halt and crumbling, man. Because basically Dave Chappelle said, man, I don't give a fuck about y'all. Hey, look, I agreed. I said I was gonna do it, and plus I got the bag. Let's get off the high horse. The BS that U.S. allows you to end for your children to visualize, and the things that we're able to put in our body in the States, yeah, kill that whole morality shit. Okay, verse 17. Be not overmuch wicked, neither be thou Salakia. Let me read that correctly. Let me reread that over. Be not overmuch wicked, neither be thou foolish. Why shouldest thou die before thy time? Right? So it's like, bro, you really yeah, man, we're really at a point, man, that and we always been at that point that it always pops in my mind that working out your own salvation, man. So that's what you really have to do in this society, man. You really gotta, like, to hell with what people think, man. You don't care how I died, cool. You don't care for what I believe in, cool. That's one less nigga to worry about. Okay? That's how the spirit is moving, man. And call halal y'all bashim yasha for that. I'm not worried, what the hell, now for prophecy's sake, yes, like the things that are going on between the US, Iran, Israel, and of course, Saudi Arabia, because all these countries are being pulled into World War III, right? Everybody has to pick a side. So there is concern what's going on in those countries, but only for what? For prophecy's sake, on my behalf, on the apostles, bishops, and elders' behalf. That's all we care about. Now that it just kind of echoes that whole when something tragic happens, these other countries pray for so and so, pray for so and so. And someone made an interesting point, bro. It's like, so much jacked up shit happens here. You have your little particular post or your little news segments that's never pray. You know what I'm saying? It's never pray for this and that. And when it comes to the States, but everybody's so gung ho on what these countries are doing, and it's really a media trick, man. It's very much so a media trick, to pretty much to put Dave Chappelle in a bad light. And other Jake who like, look, bro, because they'll have it to where, well, the worst black person is a capitalist and this and that, and it's like, bro, this man getting his daily bread, okay? But when correction is needed for those in the States, what they complain about? Oh, the patriarchy. Oh, men are so controlling and this and that, so forth. You can't tell me what to do, this and that. Hey, his body, his comedy, his choice, right? And for any other individual, hey, I gotta go get my daily bread, right? And this, and that's why I say this scripture just, I'm finding myself, which we're supposed to be doing anyway. I'm not doing this just cause, or, I got reasons, which we all have reasons for, Philippians, bury me, Baba Kushai. We all, and the reason is to not get obliterated, and may Yahweh Shemi Ashai have mercy on me. Okay? That's why I'm in the truth and I believe, May Yahweh Shemi Ashai have mercy on me. May he have mercy on the body, right? I'm tripping. Salakia, bury me, Baba Kushai. I don't know why. It was just right in my face, and I just clicked on something totally different. Salakia. There we go. There we go. Okay, this is Philippians chapter 2, verse 12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Okay? So the outside noise is just outside noise. Ahchyam and Outrage out there. Okay? People wanting you to feel how they feel. Hey, life just don't work like that. If we agree, we agree. Or we just agree to disagree. Point blank, point, period. But all this whole guilt trip shit, I think it's really done for the most part, man. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemi Ashai, man. And the Lord has it playing out so beautifully, man. See, when everybody was riding high before the inflation, before the housing crisis and so forth, didn't nobody have shit to say. Now that people are kind of acknowledging and seeing the America for what it is, what Esau, aka the white man, is really known for. Now Jake are kind of coming around, and you have particular Jake that are waking up. But at the same time, that doesn't mean how you feel is going to stop prophecy, or it's going to stop someone's daily life, right? So that's why I say, hey, and that's the spirit said at the end. It says, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Okay, that's the only thing we can really be concerned with is Yahweh Shemi Ashai. Okay, the body. So I always attach Yahweh Shemi Ashai in the body, and then your health, and your household. That's the only thing I'm concerned about. Everything else to hell with, man. Everything else is I don't care how you feel about me. I got a job to do. I'm gonna go do my job and bring my ass home and worry about me. Okay, and worry about the Ahchyam and Ahchyam who's concerned about Yahweh Shemi Ashai. Okay. But that's all I had on this. And Abaratazah, this is edifying for the body. So once again with that, call halal Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Waharakakwadash Brakathum. Once again, I'd like to give double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to the select number of Ahchyam, pushing his truth and sincerity in four corners of the round earth. And salutations to the select number of Ahchyam out there listening. Shalom.